Hi, Geraldo. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey to founding ABSeed Ventures?
Sure. So I went for my MBA at Duke and was a phenomenal experience. After that, I went to Dell, straight to Dell. And at Dell, I created a business which was basically a indirect sales alternative model that grew tremendously. And this experience of running a internet indirect sales in a large tech company helped me to move on and think my next step. So after Dell, I went to RD Station, which became the largest sales automation tool in Latin America that was recently sold to TOTUS, which is the largest software company in the region. And by participating in this growth and learning a lot about the operations of a sophisticated SaaS business, this helped me to create the thesis of ABSeed, which is only invest in SaaS B2B companies in the early stage, where go-to-market skills. It's very important for these companies to they reach their first milestones in this stage. So today we only invest in SaaS B2B. We're a team of operators, and our thesis is a very focused thesis on SaaS B2B Latin America early stage.
Got you. Can you tell us a little bit about your investment strategy, like a strike zone in terms of strategy, sector, focus, a geographic market, maybe Brazil, right? Ticket size, the stage, and social impact, etc., etc.
Sounds good. So we are really focused on the company that is generating their first amount of revenue. They have their first batch of customers showing product market fit, but not necessarily
Proof of a concept, right?
Proof of concept, a little bit, usually a little bit more than the proof of concept, but okay, generating their first like 10, 100 volume of customers, of course, depending on the ticket size. And at this point, they are with a good signal of product market fit, but not necessarily a channel market fit already established. And our team is well suited, is prepared, has the collective knowledge to really help these companies find the best path to reach this channel market fit and reach the next gas station, right? The next point where can get the. So we're really focused on getting this guys with. We usually have like $150K to $100K of MRR, and we are helping these guys to reach 200K MRR, about 200K MRR in 12 to 18 months, so they can get to the next point on the investment chain. In terms of sectors, we are already really focused on the business model and the stage. So we are kind of agnostic about sectors, because SaaS B2B can have a lot of segments that operate in this business model. So you have HR techs, you have sales tools, you have fintechs that are also SaaS B2B. You have several industries. You have ag techs in the region here. Cybersecurity. You have several industries and segments that can grow in the form of SaaS business model. So in our portfolio, we have a variety of segments, but we do love we like specific segments that we believe that today is an opportunity. So for example, vertical SaaS. We have a special attention to vertical SaaS. We believe that there's a opportunity, a very recent contemporary opportunity on vertical SaaS. All the infrastructure and all the technology that is already available helps this specific business model of verticalized software to have a great opportunity of growing fast and monetizing different ways with all this banking as a service and all this infrastructure that is already in place around this business. So we have a special attention to vertical SaaS, but agnostic in terms of segments. So SaaS B2B, depending on the segments, we are open to help and we are excited to look.
Got you. Interestingly, I have a look at the couple of startup in the South America, LATAM, but I found it very interesting. There is a couple of startup, very successful startup related to pet, P-A-P-E-T, pet, right? So
Yes.
I came to think that they may be, it may be become the new trend for the rest of the world as well, because they made a huge success in LATAM, which means that they can make same success in US and Asia and Europe. So can you tell me a little bit about what is a major trend? Because every venture capitalist talk about the trend is very important. Timing is very important. So what is the major trend in the startups in the LATAM? What is a popular business model? Other than that, I mean, beside we know that like ride hailing, fintech, e-commerce, those are the like low hanging fruit, the other part of the world globally. Other than that, do you have a unique business model which is a very popular and trend at the moment in the LATAM?
Sure. I believe that since the market is booming in Latin, right? So in the last years we had our investment chain form. What I'm saying is that you have like a lot of angel investors, serious angel investors, seed stage, a lot of funds, Series A. So all the stages of the investment chain today, we have a lot of firms in Latin, which is great to be entrepreneur right now because you have funding everywhere you are in the investment cycle, right? So this helps to boost the activity, the venture capital activity, investment activity in the region, especially in the recent years. The volumes are huge. We had like if you forget 5 years ago, the volume of investments was on the hundreds of millions of dollars, and right now you are in the tens billions of dollars. The first semester of this year, so the amount allocated to the region is huge, and this is coming from also an incredible amount of deal flow. And this deal flow, this entrepreneurs, they are coming from the first wave and the second wave of big companies that grow in the region. So today, I don't believe that there's one trend that we can say, oh, this is the trend. There's a lot of opportunities because it's a big region with a lot of inefficiencies, but at the same time with a lot of opportunities. So we've seen a incredible boom in the terms of fintech in the region that it's
AI
incredible.
and
Artificial intelligence.
yes,
So there's in terms of
fintech.
technologies, there's a lot of technologies that are driving this growth in the region. In our perspective, in the SaaS B2B perspective, this kind of replicates the same way. So there's a lot of artificial intelligence powering SaaS. There's a lot of fintech working on the side with SaaS. So getting back to vertical SaaS, we believe this is one very interesting trend, because in the past, if you look at the vertical software, usually what investors say, oh, this is not maybe potentially too small because it's too specific. But today, if you have a software who solves a specific problem and becomes big fast with a great amount of customer base and data, you can plug a transaction and a fintech in the top of that pretty quickly, something that you couldn't do like 3-4 years ago, right? All this banking as a service and tools and infrastructure, any company, any startup can become a bank quickly and put in their business model a financial service or transactions that this was much more complex and difficult 3-4 years ago, right? You have to create all the technology at home. Today, you have all these blocks that you can put together and create a value proposition. So I believe that vertical software is one area that is very interesting. It's not that obvious, but it's a great path to create a lot of value in the region right now.
I see. I see. Brazil is one of the biggest country in terms of land, right? Land size. What is the population of Brazil now?
Brazil, it's around 220 million people.
Okay, that's a pretty big, pretty big.
Yeah.
As compared to that's to 200 more than 200 million is probably one of the top 10 country in the world, right?
Yeah. And this helps a lot some local thesis. So, for example, agtech.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
agtech Brazil is
Yes.
almost a third of the global GDP in terms of crop generation, of
Wow.
revenue generation.
That's amazing.
Brazil is it's almost a third of this GDP. So you can create an agtech in Brazil without that mindset. Oh, I have to be global to be a large company. No, you can be local and create a gigantic company in the agtech sector. And in our
Right.
portfolio, we have one agtech that is doing really well.
Right. I mean, actually, for the last couple of decades, I received when I was a corporate banker, I received a lot of proposal from the Brazil about the plantation.
Yeah.
Plant the
Yes.
trees, and then they I mean harvest something for the first 5 years, and then they harvest another thing and over again. So that's
Exactly.
the storytelling. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
More than 200 million people, and then huge size of land, and then yeah, that's very interesting. So, can you please tell us a little bit about your fund and couple of the current portfolio company you are bullish about, and then reason that you invest in that company?
Sure. So I'll start with what we're talking right now about agtech, right? So we have a company called Aegro,
Mm.
which is a farm management system focused on crops. It's like an ERP for farms, mid-size to small-size crops. This company we invested pretty early. Was a co-investment with SP Ventures. That is one of the funds that is also really focused on agtech in Brazil. We are focused on SaaS B2B. They are niche in agtech, so it was a good partnership. And this company was very interesting because when we invested in this company, people said, "Hey, there doesn't work the traditional go to market for SaaS B2B in this field. You have to. There is the people who are the mindset of the ag investment, the farms are more old school, so you have to do field sales. It's a different sales motion." And we said, no, let's test both. And to make a long story short, today we have almost 25 inside sales reps that receive the opportunities from a blog, which they have a very sophisticated inbound marketing strategy. And this generates a impressive amount of revenue monthly. Today they have 5 million hectares in managing under management on their business. And right now they just raised a second round of funding with the focus of doing what we are talking earlier on, which is they have a vertical SaaS. They created a pretty impressive customer base with a lot of data, and now they are starting to offer financial services transaction to this customer base, more specifically credit to this customer base, which is something more natural, right? So they already have a customer base, they already have a positioning, they already have a lot of data to offer credit to this environment, to this structure. It's easier than you from the scratch. You scale. I'm going to create a fintech, agtech that's going to generate credit. So this is a good example of a vertical SaaS that grew as a software, and right now they are putting a second layer of financial services and transaction to increase the business model to continue growing. So this is a company that I believe a lot in this company. They are really growing very well with the great retention, with great investors. We have SLC, which is maybe the largest crop operation in the world, who is also backing now the company and believing in the company and supporting. So, and we have also other high profiles investors with us. So this is a legitimate company that is growing with great fundamentals, with great numbers, with a great team, creating a good culture, and we believe this company is going to go very far. And we've been partnering with them very well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you think, do you see any potential opportunity, possibility between your portfolio company, even including your fund, whether there is a possibility you can work with a partner, investor in Asian market in the future?
Definitely, this is something that is in our roadmap. In the beginning, we focused, since the country is huge, and we invest in a very early stage of companies. Usually, the first layer, the first phase of growth, it's locally because it's easier.
Yes,
you have
agree,
you have
agree.
you have cultural fit, and you have all this process that it's easier when
That should be that
sell.
way. It should be that way. Yeah, agree.
Usually,
Yeah.
that's easier. But that being said, when the company starts getting growing globally, definitely we have to consider the other regions for sure. I have an example of a company that is in our portfolio right now, which is called Ask Suite. This is a chatbot for hotels. It's a vertical SaaS. They are doing really well. And they are naturally, without like a very strong effort, with 20%, 25% of their revenue outside of Brazil, outside of the region, even
Very good.
in the
Very good.
yeah, even in the beginning. So this company, for example, undoubtedly will have to expand to Asia, right? Because the way they expand the business is by partnering with hotel chains, and these hotel chains, they are all over the world, so they have to have the solution where they are. So naturally, this company will start touching Asia, and I think this is kind of natural with all the companies that are growing tremendously and that have to continue to grow and have to touch different regions of the world in order to continue this growth rhythm, right? So this I see this as something natural to happen. But in our first fund, in our second fund, this focus that we have in the early stage, the first wave, the first phase of growth, usually it's Brazil, Latam, and then depending on the business
I can
model, the
understand.
product,
Yeah, yes, I can understand.
this can go more to Asia or more to the US.
Right. When the investor look at the deal, if company, if they have a potential, which is a very competitive, potentially competitive local market, that is a big starting point. But in terms of valuation, if they have a potential expand outside their home country, then make the difference in terms of valuation, right?
Certainly, for sure. Of course, there's some details and some other aspects that play a role in this question about valuation. But big market, if you have a big market to work, for sure, this will push a valuation up, right? So for sure, having a big market, an international market for a product, for a problem to expand, this reflects in the valuation in general, for sure.
Yes. What is the long-term goal and vision of your fund?
So our long-term vision, David, is when you see most of the funds in every region that grew tremendously, usually they start to invest in one segment or in specific thesis, and as they grow the fund, they start to open this thesis dramatically. We are really focused on not doing this. We believe there's a good strategy and a good opportunity to be specialist. especially in the market where it's, everyone now is becoming a venture capitalist, right? Everyone is a VC, everyone is investing in startups right now, which is great in one sense. The market is evolving. But when you see all this noise and all this thesis coming up, and most of them are very similar, one way to stand out and it's have a focus. So we believe in the early stage in Latam, there's a big opportunity. Even the big funds, SoftBank right now is investing in seed stage in Brazil, right? So if we focus on the seed stage, if we focused on SaaS B2B, which is a big business model, even if it's niched, a lot of segments, they operate in this. It is important for us to have this focus. So our long-term strategy is stick to what we do best, which is go-to-market, which is SaaS operations, which is early stage. And we can build a family of funds. We can go potentially to other regions, but this experience of, learning about the pains and all the challenges of companies when they are in this post-product market fit, prior to channel market fit, this helps us to create a very robust playbook and really help these companies. What we do, and it helps us a lot, is that when we talk with entrepreneurs, they know what we don't know, and it's clear for them what we are good at. It's clear for them how our help will happen on Monday. What my partner Franco, what my partner Felipe, what my partner Marcelo, what each one of us can help, and when, and the intensity of that. I think it helps us a lot to communicate, and helps us a lot to create a good relationship and create a good case with this company. So we invested in 11 companies in the first fund. The portfolio is doing really well, and we have some cases that are doing, really above the average with incredible SaaS metrics, and this is what drives our movement, right? This results. It's what drives our movement and helps to create our strategy. So getting back to your question, our strategy is stick to the plan, is stick to what we are good at, and continue to do what we do, and build a family around that, of funds, family of vintages around that. Yeah, as our companies evolve, they will have to expand globally, they will have to connect globally. And Asia, it's no brainer. It's a factory of innovation, right? It's a incredible region, gigantic region with a lot of brilliant minds and great culture.
Thank you so much for taking time to introducing your friend, and it's great to learn about the vision, activity, and then about the Brazilian market. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David, for having me.